thank you for all the questions that I've been receiving, and please do continue to send them so that I can continue to hopefully respond and be helpful. Today's question is, how can a therapist or friend care deeply without the pain affecting themselves? And I thought another wonderful question. And the first part that comes up in me is you can't. You are going to be affected. If you care deeply for somebody and they are struggling, you are going to be affected by that. And the same thing is true as therapists, the same thing is true as a friend. When you care deeply, then your heart is exposed and you're vulnerable. And when that happens, hurt is going to happen also. When they go through pain, you'll go through pain. Sometimes it's they're going through pain that they're putting you through. Somebody you care for, but they're the one who is actually the one who's hurting you. And that also is very, very painful. And so I don't know that you can go through in being with other human beings and caring for them deeply and not be affected. But I guess the question is, how do you deal with the pain when it comes? And this is something I think is, we've talked about a little bit on this channel, but one of the things I think is that's so important is just expressing the emotion. The first thing that came to my mind was a session that I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember this young man came in, spoke about just all the different things that he went through. And it was just so much that after the session, when he left, I gave him a hug. He desired that. I gave him a hug. We embraced and he left. I went back into the room. It was my last session of the day. And I just sat there and cried for 15 minutes. I remember just weeping and thinking about how painful it was for him to go through. It was probably also some of my own stuff that connected or resonated with him. And so that is all, that empathy. So I had parts that were also probably hurt, that were re-injured, I guess you could say, from what he kind of brought. And that is normal, what they call, in the therapy world, they call it secondary trauma, when you hear something that re-affects you. And that's the part that is so important for therapists and friends to continue to deal with their own stuff. Because usually, if we're going to be really deeply hurt by something that somebody does to us and or something that somebody says and then it affects us, it is probably because it's triggering something deeper inside of us. It's a trailhead, the beginning for you to look at and start working on your own self. And so that's what I saw. I looked back and I said, oh, when he went through this, I felt that. I felt that as a child when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. Those type of things. And so to some extent, it's awakening those parts of you that are in need of assistance, that are in need of help. And so that's what I would say. If you find yourself being deeply affected by somebody else, then really, number one, do the U-turn, check back in and see what's going on inside of you. Definitely do that work. If you do that work and you come to a place where you find yourself doing well, and this person is still just, for lack of better words, because people like to use it, objectively, they're just doing things that are very painful, then you have to ask yourself the question, do I want this person in my life? Because they are hurtful to me, even when it's not just sitting on top of my own stuff, it's just really just theirs. And now, am I going to allow that person to continue to be in my life and continue to bring pain to me? And that's a question you've got to ask about boundaries. And as we talked about, being the best version of yourself means you're going to have to say a lot of goodbyes. So this is kind of what comes up for me. I think that friends and therapists who are working closely with people and deeply care about people will be affected. And so once we're affected, we have to find out, is that our stuff? Is it their stuff? And do I want to have this person ultimately in my life if they're really only causing pain? And that's another question for maybe another day. But hoping you all have a beautiful, beautiful day. Take care of yourselves and take care of others.